so this is a weird angle. Oh gosh. Just so we know, this is my newly repainted basement. Anyways, okay, so big concept time, talking about boundaries, not just boundaries with our kids, but boundaries with everybody. I started listening to this new podcast. Initially, I actually was going to recommend it to my husband, and I probably still will because it's for the men. But it's talking about respect, and I think every one of us can benefit from this topic. So what I know about respect is often there are two things. One, you want to respect yourself, and two, you want to place boundaries around those who interact with you. Because if you're not going to respect yourself and you're not putting healthy boundaries in, most likely you're going to feel disrespected. And yes, men like respect. Men want to be respected, and women need to be loved. I shouldn't say men want to be respected. Men need to be respected, and women need to be loved. And in fact, there's a great book that I read years ago called just that, Love and Respect. I don't remember who wrote it off the top of my head. It's a well-known author too, because it's a well-known book. So if you haven't read it, get it. Go through the workbook too that comes with it, or is sold separately but works alongside the book. There are boundaries books out there. I believe that's by Dr. Henry Cloud. These are books that I've had in my library for so long and read them and try to apply them, but I still, honestly, I'm not the best with boundaries, because a lot of times when I'm placing boundaries on my kids, for instance, I feel unloving or emotionless, because a lot of times I will, when I'm parenting and placing boundaries, I just get a neutral voice, because I'm trying actually to regulate my own emotions. I don't want to yell at my kids. I don't want to yell at anybody, to be honest. I'm not a yeller by nature. And I'm also a person who I like people to be happy around me. So I feel like if I'm putting a boundary in place, then I'm making them uncomfortable. So definitely something that even people who are aware of what boundaries do, and aware of the books that are out there that give you more tangible advice on how to do it, still struggle with it. So either way, it goes very simple. And this was a verse that this podcast touched on. And I don't know the reference, but it's, let your yes be yes and let your no be no. And I think if we could just start there and let that be kind of your daily motto. Also, I want to encourage you, if you're going to let your yes be yes and your no be no, give yourself, even if it's a minute, give yourself time to think, do I want to say yes or do I want to say no? Because, I'll use kids as an example again. They do hang on your words. If you say, yes, I'm going to take you to the ice cream shop and get you ice cream after school, you better believe those kids are going to be expecting you to take them for ice cream because you said it. And they will listen to you and they will believe it. But it's interesting because when we say no, oftentimes the whining will start, for instance, or the begging. And it's so easy then to rethink why you said no. And I know one of my kids in our house, it's kind of a running joke. One of my kids should be, I don't know, he's a master negotiator. And before I knew better, I played along a little bit when he was younger. And he was such a good kid. Shoot, I'm giving it away a little bit. But anyways, he was a good kid, and usually his way was better. So I actually have had to be trained in just that, thinking, am I going to say yes or am I going to say no, and let it lie as I say it. On that note, this is one of those topics that could talk about for a really long time, and I don't want to do that right now. But I guess a good thing to do moving forward would be to encourage you to at least just put that verse in your mind and let it be used in your daily routine and your daily habits. Let your yes be yes and let your no be no. There is a saying that I've said to my kids, it's been a while. Oh, say what you mean and mean what you say. Those are also good words to remember. So basically, this kind of falls into another verse too. Our words have power. So if we're going to say something, let's follow it up with action. Let's put it that way. And you might be surprised if you're feeling disrespected. There's a good chance by making these very small, subtle changes and having awareness in those things, you likely will start to feel more respected, which who's going to complain about feeling more respected? On that note, I'm also going to continue to make an effort to respect my husband. Truly all the men in my life. I think honestly, men in general could use a little more respect, but as the theme was speaking about this, so I wish I could tell you the name of the podcast. I'm drawing a blank on it, so maybe at a later video I'll bring it up. But either way, you can find a lot of podcasts and books on respect and boundaries, and I invite you to do that. Look for them, research them, look into it. But the bottom line is, if you want to be respected, I'd encourage you and invite you to act respectable. We have this, I don't know, I think sometimes we can take advantage of our family members a little bit, whether it's kids or a spouse. We kind of assume that they're not going to walk away from us. And if they do, it's not going to be an easy process. So I think it's easy to be unloving or disrespectful to your spouse or to your kids. And it's not right, but we do it. So let's just be more mindful of that. I think that's all I want to say, because sometimes I feel like I start to ramble and then we lose the message. So that's all. Have a great day.